Greetings! We are going to play Fallout 4, but before we start our playthrough there is a neat cutscene at the beginning that I would like us to have a look at. So let's go and do that first.
War. War never changes. In the year 1945, my great-great-grandfather, serving in the army, wondered when he'd get to go home to his wife and the son he'd never seen. He got his wish when the US ended World War II by dropping atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The world awaited Armageddon. Instead, something miraculous happened. We began to use atomic energy not as a weapon, but as a nearly limitless source of power. People enjoyed luxuries once thought the realm of science fiction. Domestic robots, fusion-powered cars, portable computers. But then, in the 21st century, people awoke from the American dream. Years of consumption led to shortages of every major resource. The entire world unraveled. Peace became a distant memory. It is now the year 2077. We stand on the brink of total war. And I am afraid. For myself, for my wife, for my infant son. Because if my time in the army taught me one thing, it's that war never changes. War never changes.
You're gonna knock him dead at the Veterans Hall tonight, hun.
You think?
Absolutely. Now get ready and stop hogging the mirror.
Right.
Now as we wait for the goosebumps to go off our skin, we're gonna have a look at the character creation. Immediately after the cutscene, our main character, or should I say main characters, give a one-liner of some sort. Just to signify, oh, this was the man that talked to you in the cinematic, and this is how he sounds. So, which one do you like the best? Now you hear the woman as well, because she is not in the cinematic, so, you know, you make up your mind. These particular group of videos are going to be very critical, as you might already be able to tell. Now, while in this character creation, I'm gonna speed it up so that you get to see all the mustaches and little beard straps and little facial hairs and what you can do with earlobes and everything, just to give you a good example of how good this system really is. Because when Bethesda said, oh, you can just sculpt your face, no series of sliders, they were really proud about it, but I wasn't necessarily convinced. Now, while I have tried similar systems, this is a really good one. I would argue that you're not able to shape the nose as extensively as you might want to, but the options about what you can do is, I mean, it's all over the place. You can add pimples. Nobody will ever do this. I just want to mention that. The only people that will actually do this are the people that are a bit crazy. So having the character creation as the first step is actually very important for the player to be able to pick out what type of character is going to be. Now, they kind of fucked the creation system up in another part, but I'll go through that when we get to it. But if you would want to play as the pre-selected characters, that is totally fine. And we also see that the character you don't choose becomes an NPC. which is actually really cool, because this is also when you choose your gender. The person you leave this mirror as is the person you're going to play the rest of the game as. And it's immersive that they have it this way, but it's not very clear to the player that this is the way it's going to be. Maybe they just did a mistake because they wanted to fix Nora up here, which is her name, by the way. She is Nora, and the man here, his name is Nate. But maybe they just wanted to fix her up, and then they press, okay, I'm done. And then they thought, hey, now I get to choose the gender, right? But no, it doesn't work like that at all. The one you live with is the one you're gonna play. Now, this is important because fixing both partners is actually recommended. Now, I quite like how Nora and Nate are actually looking, but I thought we're gonna do something a little bit special here in this playthrough. Because on my first playthrough that I've actually spent a good 100 hours on already, even though the game is quite new still, I made him look like myself. Now, this really struck home because Nora and Nate actually already have a child. And his name is Sean. And Sean actually changes depending on the couple you make. So if I change Nora, there will be slight adjustments to how Sean look. But it's mainly Nate's appearance here that I'm going to change. And it's mainly Nate's appearance that will have the biggest factor in how Sean looks, because it's the character I'm going to play. And going back to the character creation system, I mean, it's really good. You can just look at it here, all the little small details, because that's the big thing. It's the small details. It's the devil is in the details, and this entire game is about the details. In this case, if I do just the slightest adjustment to the cheekbones, or the chin, or even just the earlobes, it doesn't look like Agent 47 anymore. I would like to go completely bald, but, you know, hey, you can't have everything. We're also going to base this Agent 47 on the newer Agent 47 that is coming up in the new Hitman game. So the Vin Diesel look is not what we're going for right here. But then again, Agent 47 has been having a new look for every game, so, you know. Something you really haven't been able to do before is now you can actually change the body type, and that is huge. Because if you played any of the Elder Scrolls game or the Fallout games, every woman has the same sleek figure, and every guy, even the really old men, are like super buff and ripped dudes. Now you can be really skinny, like really fat, and it's just so good, because you actually see these people out there. It brings so much more diversity to what otherwise was just a bodybuilding fashion show. Now, as we confirm our character, it kind of starts the game for real, and this is the introductory section. Now, at this stage of the game, the character is just going around, and you're expected to press all the things and hear what he has to think about him and what he has to say about him, because, hey, these characters, they don't think, they just talk out straight. But the intro is woven in a way that if you want to rush straight to the vault, then you can almost kind of do that. You still have to do some set pieces that are mandatory. And here we see the incredible multi-handed Mr. Handy fuel, which was shown in the trailer, which I think is really cool, because now we know, oh, this was his house all along.
International. Abraxo for all your cleaning needs.
Now here we meet Codsworth, and Codsworth is just incredible. Like, he is so lovable, but the problem is, as we're gonna see later, that you meet the dog before you meet Codsworth. Or rather, you kind of have him as a companion before, which is just disastrous, because nobody wants Codsworth after that point. It's like, you have a dog. How cool is that?
The Bat Babies. My favorite. More of the same. Now, who left those here? Hey, hon?
Well, look at you. How'd a girl like me ever get so lucky, huh?
Oh, sounds like someone made a stinky. I shall attend to young Shaw.
You know, I was nervous at first, but Codsworth's really good with Sean.
Now, even though they say Codsworth is good with Sean, all he really does here is that he goes over to the crib and he just idles there, because there is actually no animation for him changing Sean. You are supposed to be somewhere else as he does it, so he will just wait there indefinitely until something happens. And what the game tried to do for you at this point is that it's trying to give you exposition. You were supposed to look at the TV, listen to the TV, and maybe not even notice the big Vault-Tec truck and the man coming forward outside from it. Now this is where we start to create our character in statistics. But first let's see what this sales pitch is all about. It's also a good time to take the first look on the conversation wheel, but we'll talk about that later.
Good morning! Vault-Tec calling.
Unquestionably, inescapably American.
Good morning.
Isn't it? Just look at that sky out there. You can't begin to know how happy I am to finally speak with you. I've been trying for days. It's a matter of utmost urgency, I assure you.
I'm here now.
So you are. So you are. Now, I know you're a busy fellow, so I won't take up much of your time. Time being a precious commodity. I'm here today to tell you that because of your family service to our country, you have been pre-selected for entrance into the local vault. Vault 111.
I'm a little busy right now.
Oh, of course, of course. This won't take but a moment. It's just a matter of verifying some information. Need to make sure you're cleared for entrance in the unforeseen event of, total atomic annihilation.
Now, I can't wait for the world to end.
Ha ha! That's the spirit. Now, let's see.
So for this playthrough we're gonna use a build with high agility and high luck, because luck is just so much fun this time around, like it's never been actually this good. The game also really encourages you to play with only one type of weapon, like automatic weapon, a pistol, non-automatic, or a sniper rifle or something like that. Oh, and melee of course. But we're also gonna gimp our character just one step in everything. We're gonna pick up the bobblehead sooner or later, so we don't want to have points go to waste. Now we could max out our agility to 10 already, but we're not actually gonna do that, we're gonna wait for it. Because once we get the bobblehead, we get 1 extra agility, so these are pickups that are located inside the world. And usually why this is such a fucking annoying system to go through. Because my problem with having the registration form, as they call it here, is that I don't know, if I'm a new player, I don't know the perks yet. Now, perks are extremely important to the Fallout games, but at this point you don't know what they do. Of course, you can already kind of guesstimate that if you want to be a strong character and use melee weapons, you will pick strength. Now, this makes all the sense. But there are some things you just don't know about. Like, you don't know the bobbleheads are out there, and you don't know if you want to be a sniper, you better get, like, good perception. That doesn't just click with me. It's like, how do I improve my guns? Well, if you want to have a pistol, you use agility. Okay, well, that makes sense. If you want to use power armor for a longer time, you better up your intelligence. But if you want to bum rush people over inside your power armor, you get strength. It's like, what the like, all of these make sense, but you don't know any of this yet. You simply don't. So my suggestion would be that they have to introduce the perk system a lot sooner. Or at the very least, that we're able to take a look at it before we can make the final edit, because there is no respecking in this game. You either play out with what you have chosen, or you make a new character, and the game actually incentivizes you to do several playthroughs, because there are quite a lot of branching options you can do within the game. I think the easiest way to fix this problem is to make sure that no matter how low intelligence you have, you get level 2 while inside the vault, because before you leave the vault you're asked if you want to change around your points, and if you level up you're incentivized to go and see what that means, and then you choose a perk, and then you see the perk tree, and then you go, well, I better take some less strength because I want to go with a sniper build, and so on and so forth. Now, Nora is definitely the tutorial here, trying to tell you what to do, and Codsworth actually has a long list of names that he can call you, including fuckface and boobies. But there are also, you know, the normal names in there, like Grognak and Howard.
The milk got delivered.
You heard Codsworth. Go on.
Now, for some reason you're being confined into this little room at this point, even though on the TV they're talking about quite important stuff, but I don't understand if this is supposed to be the big moment you have with your child, because it really isn't. She closes the door on the way in and you have a little conversation again, just to make sure that you've actually understood how it works. It's also worth noting that as you play as a female, Nate is the one they're proposing they go to the park. And if you choose sarcastic, she will actually say, "What, you think I want to be pregnant again?" So we can assume that Sean was conceived 1 year ago in that park. Now immediately here we get to know why the game tried to lock us into that room, because the windows were shut. But here the windows aren't shut, and all the people are already standing outside just looking confused. There is no reason for them to stand here yet, because the news haven't really been reported, and we haven't heard anything, but, you know, it's easier this way.
Followed by... yes, followed by flashes, blinding flashes. Sounds of explosions. We're, trying to get confirmation.
What?
We seem to have lost
did
contact
he
with our
say?
affiliate stations. We do have coming in. That's, confirmed reports, I repeat, confirmed reports of nuclear detonations in New York and Pennsylvania. My God.
Oh my god.
We need to get to the vault. Now!
I've got Sean.
So obviously now we're in this big, like, rush to the vault, oh my god, it's so important, but we don't really get to have any certain threat. It would be cooler if you actually heard some very distant explosions or something to really give this type of urgency, because right now you can actually just go around and talk to people. They won't really have much to say apart from like, oh my god, but you can still do it. Now at this point in the game it actually starts to lag out as shit. I don't know why this happens. Now I'm assuming it has to do with all these characters trying to rush to specific points and doing their pathings, but I can't be sure because as I was playing I didn't actually notice this. Therefore it's worth mentioning that I'm playing on a high-end PC and the game, it just runs smooth. Now there aren't enough options to go, you know, PC Master Race on it just yet, such as unlocking 144 Hz options, and the FOV is something you have to do via console commands and stuff. But I thought for this playthrough I'll just have it in the original state that the game is just in, to not give any padding to what would be considered the standard experience for people that just picks up the game and don't really know what to do with it in terms of optimizing and customizing.
Now keep moving! Step on the platform, in the center!
Now that we're finally able to go onto the elevator that goes down to the vault, it just strikes me as looking incredibly strange. Like, this looks so goddamn dangerous. Where are the railings? People can fall in. It just seems to me that the only reason we have it like this right now is because we get this shot.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! We did it. We made it. We're okay.
Everyone please, step off the elevator and proceed up the stairs in an orderly fashion.
Now there is a lot of idle chatter going on in Fallout 4, and I think that is really, really good. Unfortunately, a lot of the chatter is something you only hear the once, but it's better to have missed it and never heard it again, because the game can't make sure you actually paid attention and heard certain things. But I prefer that system to having you be constantly bombarded with the same arrow-in-the-knee jokes. This part of the introduction doesn't actually teach us anything, but it's actually really cool. Never before within the Fallout universe have we seen how the vaults were handled when they were opened to the population for the first time. Now, the Vault-Tec people, they're already here, and God knows how long they've actually been down here, because they were Johnny on the spot on this one.
Okay, step over to the table, take a suit.
Here you are.
Welcome.
Head down the hallway.
Pick up a suit right over there. Just step over to the table. You're good.
You'll need your suits before we can take you further.
Right over there, please.
Thanks. What now?
Just follow the doctor here. He'll show you where to go.
All right, you three. Follow me.
See? It's down the hallway right there.
Oh, you're gonna love it here.
Over there.
This
Take a
is
vault
one of our
suit
most
and head
advanced
down the
facilities. Not that the others aren't great, mind you. It's gone. Our home. Everything we had.
My mother
Sir?
and father down in D.C. Oh God, honey, what if they didn't make it?
Now, it's already been spoiled what these little containers are. They are there to keep you in cryostasis for approximately a few hundred years. But the characters don't know this yet, so it's kind of a getting to the showers situation here, where they don't know what's gonna happen. Because Vault-Tec does know, and we will see that in the terminals later on, but they know they're gonna do some pretty nasty experiments on these people. We get to see our new vault suit, and we go in.
The pod will decontaminate and depressurize you before we head deeper in the vault. Just relax.
Time for a whole new life.
Resident secure. Occupant vitals normal. Procedure complete. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Manual override initiated. Cryogenic stasis suspended.
Now, I don't know if this has to do with my character having such a low strength, but that's kind of what I'm suspecting right now. It could be that, or it could be a bug, but when I played this game on my first playthrough, I was able to actually knock the window as all of this was happening. But this time I couldn't, for the love of me, actually do it, even though how much I tried. But the way the scarred man looks at me at the end makes me believe it was a bug, because I was literally standing there knocking the thing, looking him in the eye like, hey, get me out of here. And he's looking back at me pretending I'm not even there.
Go. I'm only gonna tell you once.
I'm not giving you Sean!
Get the kid out of here. Let's go. At least we still have the backup.
Cryogenic stasis reinitialized.
So the first thing I expect anyone to do is to rush directly over to their husband or wife. Now the game does something strange here.
Come on! There has to be a release! Come on, come on, come on! Oh God!
In the previous games you would most likely have been able to loot Nora in this case. But now you don't. You get to talk with her, and as you talk with her, you for some reason take her wedding ring. I don't know why you do this, because to me that's kind of grave pillaging, and this is maybe the only corpse in the entire game I know for a fact I would not want to loot. So the game doesn't care, it just does it for me, and I'm assuming it's so that I can sell her ring, which is absolutely preposterous. On my first playthrough I never did sell the ring, I just stored it somewhere and never touched it again, and I would never want to touch it. Because it's the only thing that actually keeps the sentiment up to this character that now is dead. We get a small glimpse at the enemies that are gonna come up, and that is quite interesting. Because our character doesn't react on it, he reacts on it afterwards. So the game displays that it doesn't always know where the character is looking, it just reacts on commandos such as sit, interact, talk, etc. Looking has nothing to do with anything. I think a lot of great opportunities are missed by this fact, and this, for instance, triggers once he kills a rad roach.
Giant roaches? What the hell?
If they're gonna do something similar like this, having a voice protagonist in the future, I think they really need to integrate that the protagonist can interact with, or rather respond to, what he's seeing, not just anything that he's actually a part of. Then we immediately get taught the lesson that electricity and fire is bad. Now, as we head our way out here, this means that the game has kind of already begun. Now, Fallout 3 handled the tutorial much better, but it also had more leeway with what to work with. But I do know for a fact that once James Liam Dadson actually escaped Vault 101, I really wanted to find him, because I had done all these activities with him, and we had gone through so much and so many years, and of course he's Liam Neeson. I automatically want to find him, so I can kick his ass. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
So right here it seems that Fallout 4 tries to copy the style of New Vegas, but I'm not sure it's copying the right things of New Vegas. Because in New Vegas, as soon as you started playing, you had a conversation with a doctor and he tried to figure out what your character was all about. Here you kind of do the same thing, but you're also trying to make this like emotional establishment to why you want to do what you're going to do. Because in New Vegas you got shot in the head. Now, you don't need a reason other than that. You want to find out who the fuck shot you in the head. Now here's the computer terminals. You can pause the video and take a look at them if you want to. But in Fallout 3, you don't know why your daddy left and you want to find daddy. It makes all the sense. Here, however, your son gets stolen, and that is the biggest urgency ever. Because now you're the parent. When you were the child trying to look for your dad, there's a different sense of urgency. You have no idea where he went. You have no idea who took your child. But one would imagine, as soon as the character goes out there, he is not going to focus on anything else than finding his kid. But this is a Fallout game, so you don't do that. You go around and do all these little other objectives, and it just trivializes the entire thing. Now I'm glad they didn't do the same thing as they did with Skyrim, where there was this constant urgency. It was, get over here, praise mighty Talos. You are the Dragonborn, and you're finally here to take down Alduin. Now, you must do this time trial before Alduin comes and destroys the world. You must hurry. But you can do it in 5 years if you want to. Just try to hurry, okay? When your dad left, you kind of felt, oh, he'll be able to take care of himself. But now as you leave the vault, it's been another period of unknown time since we were frozen again. We don't know if Sean got stolen on basically day 2, or if it was on day 200 years later. There's simply no way for us at the moment to know any of this. Now here is where we're expected to use VATS for the first time. It has been slightly changed with a crit bar and all that good stuff, but we'll talk about that later when we have the time to fully go through it. And of course, finding your Pip-Boy. Now it is a really nice touch that the Pip-Boy can actually interact with the rest of the world, even for such like low amounts of time. But a lot of people comment on that you have a Pip-Boy. That didn't really happen on the same level in the previous games, because it's actually so uncommon that they should. Like, nobody else has a fucking Pip-Boy. Wouldn't people normally ask, what's that big huge thing that looks kinda cool and expensive around your wrist, and where did you get it? And can I take it from you? Hand it over. see some nice physics here, and obviously this is supposed to be a very impactful scene, but it's not really, because we already know what the other side of the vault door looks like. But it's kind of fun now that we get to see all these like blue colors, all rusty. Now, before we go outside, we're able to change our appearance and change name and special attributes. And this is, like I said before, a huge problem. Because I still haven't been introduced to the perks. The game hasn't taught me anything about perks. I still don't know what all these stats will actually contribute to. I understand what they say they will do on their own, but I don't understand what type of character I'm now forced to build with my stats. Now, I already know this because I played the game once, but that's no real excuse. Now, you're also able to change your appearance if you wanted to make some last adjustments before leaving the vault here, but I'm quite happy with how my character turned out to look. It is worth mentioning that you can actually go to major cities and you can actually do facial reconstruction over there, so if you ever get annoyed with how your character looks, and if you want to change anything about that, you can just do it. It's so simple. But you can't respec. So that's why I'm having such a problem with this. There is no respecking, and I wouldn't know after playing now for this amount of time. I'm still level 1 and I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know how to build.
Enjoy your return to the surface, and thank you for choosing Vault Tech.
Now this is the grandiose reveal we actually really wanted. And Bethesda took liberty to use the little trick again, where you just put your hand in front of your face and go, "Oh, look at all that sun! I haven't seen it for 200 years, oh, it burns my eyes." And it is impactful, but it's not the same, even though it's been a long time since you've been under there, and we're gonna find out how long as the game progresses. But it was so much more impactful in Fallout 3, because that was the first time your character had ever seen the sun. But anyway, we're out now, and we are ready to get rumbling. And of course we're gonna take a look at the vault suit as we run around in it, and we're gonna show off the third-person camera. So third-person combat isn't something I'm personally interested in. I know a lot of people actually are, and especially with a lot of popular third-person games that have come out recently, it's no wonder that they wanted to create a third-person that actually worked as well as it does. Now, in my Fallout trailer analysis, I actually took a look at this because we saw the dog run up here, and there were all these bodies outside, and I theorized that, you know, a lot of these people had to become ghouls. There will be one that had become a ghoul that we know of, but we'll come back to that later. Now, as we're rushing to Sanctuary, that's where we're going to meet Codsworth. Now, we'll go through what Codsworth has to say and how much he's been missing us for all this long time in the next episode. My name has been Hankshaw, and thank you very much for watching. Until next time.